Hello, hello, hello! Welcome back for another Toonkind D&D at 12 FPS. This one's title is A Bird in the Hand. My name is Briggs, and today I'm going to be playing Athena, the Kiwi that made its debut in the uh, whoa, Dream Within a Dream, the whole Ruin Doll. That whole arc.
That
That was a
whole
heck of a thing.
thing.
Yeah, we got a bird out of it.
We did. We got a heck of a bird.
Yeah, and I am joined today by the wonderful, the lovely, the amazing.
It's me. It's Uni. Hello, I'm here and I'm also playing Zan, the wizard guy who helped turn Athena from a weird little brain worm into a bird.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. I'm thinking this probably takes place. Well, while Zan's still in Ruindal, of course.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah. Um, maybe like a few weeks after the whole fiasco, and I think Zan probably noticed that Athena would occasionally just kind of follow him around the Ruindal at kind of like a distance, not
Yeah.
terribly stealthily, but just like in the background, you'd be hear like a.
Yeah, Zan has pretty darn good passive perception, so
Mhm,
he could hear Athena skittering about behind him.
mhm.
Um, and I suppose on this day he will he's been feeling a little bit, I don't know, anxious about talking to Athena, but he this time he finally stops and sort of turns around and is is she, they, it, uh, are
Just gonna
they,
roll stealth.
yeah.
11. Well, yeah, I know you enjoy One Piece. Does the chopper thing. Hides the eye, body's still visible.
Oh, baby. Oh, child.
But she
Um,
is hidden.
very, very sneaky.
Hmm.
Um, and he sort of calls out like, um, Athena, would you care to join me for lunch?
Uh, there is a pause as Athena processes that it was found, but and is being called over. Okay,
Hmm.
so okay. Uh, she just kind of and then stops and looks very high up at you and it's like, "Hello. Uh, yes, I could do lunch."
All right. Um, he like starts to take a step, then realize, oh, she's been scurrying along behind him, but their legs are very tiny compared to his, and he goes, um, would you like me to carry you, or?
um, she looks down at the ground and like appears to be thinking. And looks back up and are you okay with carrying me?
I don't mind.
Uh,
And he
and
sort of holds out a hand to them.
mhm. uh, it steps aboard and kind of just nestles down until it resembles something like a cotton ball sitting in your hand.
Yes, big brown cotton ball.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, we did it. End of FPS completed. Bird in
Woohoo!
hand.
Bird in the hand.
Roll credits. But no, he takes it along to Rundal's kitchen, and uh sort of sets them down on like a tea towel or something that's on the counter where they can sit comfortably.
The entire time over, like Athena's like looking up at Zan, and if he looks down at her, like looks quickly away, like other something else. Um, but then immediately it like goes back up to like studying his face when he looks away.
um, and yeah, he is certainly noticed, but he's sort of like uh, giving time before asking the question of
Gotcha.
um and so as they get to the kitchen, he's like, "Do you know what kind of foods you like yet?"
Hmm. Ruby makes good pancakes, but this is lunch, and pancakes are
Hmm.
breakfast.
Well, let me see if I can make something similarly tasty for lunch.
And
Um,
like it perks up and like wiggles its butt and then kind of jumps from the table up onto like one of the chairs and then over to the counter.
and he goes about like he's been here long enough to know his way around the kitchen. Gets out some bread and starts slicing up some fruit to make a yummy fruit sandwich.
Oh,
Um, and after he like gets all his things out, there's like some honey, some peanut butter, and apples and pears. And as he starts working, he goes, Athena, I've been seeing you around a bit this last week. Did you have something on your mind you wanted to talk to me about?
uh, she'd been watching you quite intently as you went about your work, as if she's trying to memorize what you're doing, and uh, probably with the same intensity that every time she would watch you from a distance.
Hmm.
So she starts a little bit and looks up at you and it's like, uh, I think I'm just trying to figure out what it is I'm supposed to do now. And there aren't there are no dreams anymore, so I thought I'd find out by watching everyone, but I still don't quite understand what it is I'm meant to do.
Well, that is understandable, but I think most people are trying to figure out what it is they're supposed to do. It's something everyone works on.
Hmm. She watches you continue to work for a little bit and seems to be trying to make make its mind up about something, and then you you helped make me like this, uh, but mm, you seemed very reluctant.
He pauses for a moment in his slicing and looks up at her. Yes, I was mm, I was a little bit scared. I
She kind of
didn't want
curls up.
to accidentally hurt you or Antler, but you wanted to, well, you're still trying to figure yourself out, but have you enjoyed being in this form so far?
Hmm. There's a lot to like about it. I like I like food. I like tastes, and uh, I don't like the uncertainty. But I think the uncertainty is also a good thing. Um, it's hmm. And then like she just kind of sits down and has herself a think for a moment. Um,
He smiles at her and says, "Yes, uncertainty is, it may not feel good, but it means something very important. And that's that you are able to make choices. And being able to make choices is a very lucky thing that not everyone gets to do."
can she roll insight on Zan on that one?
Absolutely.
Sure. I love that insight. Two.
Two.
Um, he's he's hard to read.
Yeah, he sure is. Yeah. You know, maybe Athena just isn't used to looking at faces yet.
She's been following him from behind so long. It's a little difficult to get a read now that she can actually look at his face.
Yeah.
Um, hmm, ah, what do what do you do when you don't know what to do?
Um, well, depends. Sometimes I like to read things. That way I can learn more and maybe it'll give me an idea of what to do next. Or maybe I'll try making something. I
Athena looks down at the sandwich at that.
and goes, "Yes, maybe I'll make a sandwich. Maybe I'll go into my garden and grow some flowers or vegetables. Or maybe I'll do some sewing. There's a lot of things a person can do to, well, to do something, even if they don't know what they what the big things are yet."
She mulls that over a little bit and then gets up and like scoots like a slice of bread over closer to you. Um, she's trying to help. Uh, but no arms.
No arm, just schnoz.
Schnoz. And she seems to be getting like I'm gonna just go to do a dexterity check just to see how well she's like learned how to use said schnoz. The bread probably winds up on the floor. That's a 9. Uh, so it falls on the floor. Athena looks down at it from the counter and oops, ah, and then summons Mage Hand because that's something she could do, and picks it up and puts it back on the counter.
Then he was already like halfway to like leaning down to pick it up when she does that, and he sort of blinks and looks at Athena and goes, "Oh, I didn't realize you could do that."
Yeah, she looks at the Mage Hand and uh looks back at Zan and is like, uh, I, actually, I don't think I did either. And just kind of like frowns at it, like,
Hmm. Well, that's one other option for you is learning about how much of that sort of thing you can do.
and that actually kind of gets her attention. Um, and she perks up and looks up at Zan and is like, can you teach me?
He looks again a little bit surprised, but then, well, it's been a while since I've taught someone, but sure, I I'd love to.
Uh, in a very toonish moment, she like just kind of like does like the a little bit of the the Kiwi happy dance. If
Yeah,
you know,
the little
just a
vibration.
little, yeah, just a little run around, a little hop, falls on her side, gets back up.
Oh, baby. And he smiles wider and like cuts the sandwich into equal portions and gives her a smaller half because she tiny.
Mm. Uh, I think she like experiments with like poking things with the mage hand, seeing what she can pick up. Like chair, definitely no. Sandwich, yes. Like a strand of Zan's hair, sure. Zan's entire arm, no.
And he is happily like pointing out like, oh, try that towel over there. Oh, try this apple. Um
And this tiny little hand is just zooming about the kitchen, and Athena's eyes are just sparkling.
he
But
is loving it. He is explicitly picking things that uh he knows she should be able to do because like, yeah, build that confidence.
yeah, oh my gosh, and eventually she calms down and like picks up the sandwich, takes it to the beak, and like little bites are taken out of it. You have no idea how. The beak does not open. Um, but yeah, the
uh
sandwich is eventually.
sucks it down like a mosquito.
Oh God, you know what? That's adorably cursed. That's exactly what happened.
Letting some of that horrible mind flayer energy out.
Yes, yes. Aberrant mind sorcerer. Yes.
Oh boy. Yeah, I think
And
as they eat, then we'll talk a little bit about what he knows about, how mage hand works and how Athena might be able to use it to help them do things around the castle and um, the limits of it and that sort of thing. Just very brief overview to be like, yeah, here's how you do it.
oh, at some point, I think she like listening to him, like the theory of like behind Mage Hand, uh, gets it into her head and actually tries out lifting herself and discovers that it's possible, and just looks at Zan with just like this, like not even God can stop me now. Look.
Oh my god, a flying kiwi.
And then like just lifts herself to all the parts of the kitchen she couldn't get to before and like looks around.
And Zen is grinning and just, oh no, what have we unleashed?
um
Makes a quiet mental note to warn Antler, but on the other hand, oh boy, he also kind of wants Antler to just be surprised by whatever chaos that ensues from this.
oh gosh. The Kiwi knows Mage Hand. What will it do now? Um,
Nothing is safe. Nothing can be baby proofed.
so she Mage hands herself back down to the table, um, and like dismisses Mage Hand, and then looks up at it. It's Anne and is like, okay, so I know that I want to study magic.
That's a wonderful thing to know.
Okay, I got one thing that I know. When did you know that you wanted to be a wizard?
Well, I was fairly young as well. Um, I I really liked to study what made things what they were.
Hmm.
I like to try and figure out the difference between, say, when when wood would become charcoal, or when wheat would become bread, and at what point that bread, after being eaten, was no longer bread. Things like that. Um,
Yeah, you can see Athena's like taking this and is actually like those questions are now just occurring to her, and she like is like giving the remnants of the sandwich on Zan's plate a speculative look.
hmm And he says, yes, when I was, well, maybe around 6 or 7 years old, um, I started, without even meaning to, just like you, doing spells to try and figure out things like that. And it wasn't too long after that that my caretakers found out and sent me off to school to learn how to be a wizard.
Hmm. So there are schools.
There are. And not everyone learns to be a wizard by going to a school, but it is one of the most, mm, sort of like bobs his head from side to side. One of the most expedient ways, I think.
Hmm. Mm. And can I ask you something personal?
Well, sure.
Um, Back then, when I sent Antler's memories into all of your minds, I your brain was different. I couldn't. I almost didn't get it in his memory. Why is that? Is that just? But no, Ruby's real kind.
Yes, I'm a little bit different from her. I've got something that protects my mind from things that would try and get inside it. Um, it's I was born with it there. And I think that was part of why I was so interested in what made things what they were. I I wanted to know why I was me, and why that thing was part of me but also wasn't me.
Hmm. I think I understand a little.
Hmm. Well, I'm glad, because it took me a very long time. You may be much smarter than I am.
Hmm. Um, she looks like a little happy, but also I don't know, like there's doubts there. Um,
Oh,
you can roll insight if you want.
sure. Let's do it. Oh, Athena is really cute.
Thank you.
Oh,
Oh,
22.
insightful old man. Gosh, if I can follow my own train of thought back to where it was. Um, like given what you know about mind flayers, you gather that Athena is still trying to adapt, very much so, to being away from the trove of information that uh, the the main brain would provide all the mind flares. It being a hive mind, so eh, she might be bright, but she's not feeling anywhere near as smart
Hmm.
as they used to.
Right. And he sits for a moment. He's still munching on his fruit sandwich. Um, and finally he says, I think you, on top of being smart, I think you were very, very brave back there. And very, very kind. It takes a very incredible person to take a risk like you did in deciding not to stay and consume and do what you thought you were supposed to. It shows that you're a very nice person.
And um, and I think at that, like, she just like walks over to you and then just kind of like suddenly head butts her head into your chest.
Hmm. He like puts one hand around her. I want to be I try to be a very kind person, but I was very scared back there and I almost didn't trust you and I'm glad I was wrong. So,
And,
thank you for being you.
and I think she just kind of takes that in for a bit and like lays her beak on his wrist and is just like, well, it takes a kind person to and a kind and brave person to not do what they think they're supposed to do. Mm. So, uh, I guess that means you're kind and brave too.
Mm. Mm. He sort of just like runs a finger over their little feathers. Just mm.
That tickles.
Sorry, you're very soft.
Hmm. You're you're a little sweaty.
Oh, oh no, I'm sorry. He stops.
It's okay. You're also warm.
Hmm. Well, I think the important thing to take from each other is that we both have a lot to learn from one another.
Hmm.
Like for me, I need to learn to wash my hands before I pet someone.
And I need to learn more magic and to ha- have a little more faith in myself, I guess.
He nods.
Okay.
And I think one thing that is, it is something that I think all of us end up relearning over our lives, but an important thing to know is you don't need to have yourself figured out yet.
She nods and looks back down at herself and looks at you, Zan, and
He like he's just like, he's in his 60s. He's still figuring stuff out about himself. This
hmm
this little egg is a week old and trying to figure it out. It's just like, don't rush. It's gonna be okay.
hmm hmm
um,
all the existential questions.
Existential.
Existential.
um, and he goes and starts, cleaning up the things he made. He used for making the sandwiches.
And she re-summons the mage hand and starts like helping clear the table,
Oh,
and brings them over to the sink for him.
I'm gonna
Um,
say make a dex check.
oh yes, come on. No, that's not what the. Yeah, there we go. 16.
Nice. Yeah, you
Hey.
you avoid dropping the plate or the knife or anything. Yeah, you
Mhm,
do good.
mhm.
um
And
uh
you, like if Xana's paying attention to her, and I mean, given his passive perception, I imagine that he is generally aware of her. Notices that she brightens into a brighter green color.
ah he files that note away for sure. It's like, color changing. Good to know. Um and once things are clean, he goes, "Well, I believe Antler's library has a number of books on first time magic users if you'd like me to help you find some."
Yes, I think I think I know how to read common. I think.
Well, if you have any trouble, I can help you with that too.
Okay. And she kind of launches herself from the counter, catches herself with mage hand. Actually, let me roll acrobatics to see how well she does.
Oh, that's good. I
7.
will have Zan now make a dex check to see if he can catch her. No! He like
There
tries to
is.
he tries to dive for her and like slips and falls, and I think like she like lands on top of him.
Mhm. Just bounces off and then gets up, shakes herself off, and then runs back to him. Are you okay?
Yes, ugh. And he like slowly gets back up. There's a little bit of old man creaking. um, he goes, "How about for now I can just carry you there."
Okay. I was. I got excited. Are you sure you're okay?
Yes, he just sort of like uh trying to wipe himself off, and he's definitely a little bit like, oof, but he puts on good front. He's fine. He just needs a second.
Okay. Well, let's try insight again. 7. Nope.
Nope.
She's more interested in the fact that his limbs make noise when he moves.
Oh, that's a fun feature.
Oh yeah. Oof.
Musical joints.
Oh boy.
Bodies change.
Hmm.
But
Boy.
once he manages to get himself back up, he once more offers a hand to Athena.
Aw. And she'll climb aboard and settle down again. Um, little prickly feet. Um, but yeah. And then she just kind of is like enjoying the view from up here.
Yeah. And he says, "Well, Athena."
Hmm.
He'll be saying this as they like walk to the library. Do you? Well, it may be a bit early. Do you want to stay in Ruindal with Antler?
Ooh. And yeah, she quiets down and seems to be pondering that question over for a bit.
You don't need to have the answer yet. I That's another thing you can figure out with time.
So I, where else would I go?
Um, well, if you wanted, you could come with me, or you could go to a school, or you could travel to other places. You
Mm.
could.
Yeah, and then like with each option listed, it's pretty apparent that Athena had never given it thought before that it could leave Ruindal. It could leave Ruindal, and it, oh, there's a I I only really know what I recall from Antler's memories of the world beyond Ruindal.
And then he gets a little quiet at that. He's like, ah, that's not the greatest impression of the world.
And then she like emphatically shakes her head no. Um, is it like that?
Some parts of it can be, but things have changed a lot. And he didn't get to see a lot of the very lovely parts as well. There's a lot of things in the world, and I wouldn't claim to know all of them myself. But again, it was a big question for me to ask, and
I think that one's going to require some thought.
yeah.
Hmm. When your caretakers sent you off to school, was that scary?
Yes, I was scared, but also excited because, well, I wanted to learn and know how to do more. But I also remember the the day I left. I cried because I was very scared about leaving home.
And she looks up at you like head upside down, like a cat looking up at you.
Right.
Sometimes will do. Um, hmm,
But I am I am glad I left eventually. As scary as it was, it was very important for me to see bigger things. At least I feel that way. But not everyone does. Some people stay close to home and where they grew up their whole lives, and they're very, very happy like that. It's all about what feels right.
Hmm. And she ponders this a bit more. Um, I think I think for now I'll stay here just until I've had a chance to learn a bit more about the world before going out in it.
Yes. Yes, I think
But
that sounds like a very good idea.
so you don't you don't live in Rundell?
No, no, I live someplace pretty far away. Um, and I just come to visit sometimes.
Hmm.
Actually,
What's
coming to help with you was the this is the first time I've been here.
oh hmm. So what's your home like?
Hmm. Well, I live in a big tree. Um,
Like the red
I
one?
sort of like that, but much, much bigger.
Oh, that one's
And
big.
I used my magic to shape it so that it has rooms inside.
Like eyes shining, looking up. You magic can do that.
Yeah, certain kinds of magic can do things like that. And I use my magic to give me a house out in the woods. Um, I had a lot of friends living with me, so I built rooms for them as well. It's quiet, but it's very warm there.
Tina takes that all in and is like, okay, I do want to stay in Rodell, but I do want to visit you.
Hmm. I would love to have you.
Uh, and she beams up at you, and the the color is once again gone to a bright green.
And I think at this point they get to the library
Oh, yep.
and um, as Zan Zan says to Athena, uh, you know, seems like you really are a natural at making decisions for yourself. And then as they go in with all the hundreds of books, it's like, now where should we start?
And Athena just looks around at all these choices and is like, uh, turns into like a very pale brown kind of color, um, and hesitantly summons Mage Hand and like points at a book. Here.
And like I'm just gonna I closer to 20 is the more relevant to what they're looking for. That's not
That's a 5.
that's a 5. Yeah, gotta freaking just like one of Antler's like town management ledgers.
Oh my gosh. Yep.
um Zan like the, the question was for the comedic effect. He was like saying it rhetorically and he was oh I don't um Maybe we can work on that a little later. I'm sure Hitler would appreciate the help. um, I was thinking more like, and he will go around because he's also been talking with Ruby about her own magic and what she can do, so he knows where to look and find some early magic studies and pulls one off and says, "I think this would
Oh,
be perfect for you."
and Athena, it is you feel the butt is wiggling in your
um,
hand,
he
and like the mage hand kind of splaps onto the cover.
touch.
Touch, feel the magic. With
He sets down the book on like a little reading table and sets down Athena next to the book. um,
and she immediately like uses mage hand to open the book, like just kind of like to whatever page like it first lands on, and is like pouring through it, and stops, and then like flips to the start of the book. Is like, okay, let's try here first.
saying like he has basically been like living in this library, so he just like immediately just like puts a hand out, pulls out a book that he was already looking through, and sits down next to her at the table. Um, just like sitting there reading, but also very much paying attention to if she needs his help.
Hmm. He's probably interrupted several times over the course of like this little as she's reading through it, just to like clarify like a term.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
mhm.
Um,
I guess I'll go ahead and maybe roll Arcana for her,
yeah,
just to see how well it does on this first. Asking a lot of questions.
that's good. That's a good
Mhm.
thing for someone to do when they're learning a thing.
Oh
Um,
boy,
yeah,
you're probably not
he's.
getting you're not getting much into your own book. I'm sorry.
I mean, he's like it's partially there as a prop just to make sure he's not like hovering over her, making her self conscious. So
Oh
he really doesn't mind. Um,
my God, Zan, good. Zan, so good.
this
I
is
love this
this
wizard.
is this is not the first time he has mentored a young aspiring mage. It's just been a bit, and this is honestly very endearing and nostalgic for him.
Aw.
So yeah, unless you wanted to cover anything else, then maybe we can end it there.
Yeah, I think that's a cute little tableau to end on. But yeah, just a tiny bird reading book wizard at the ready for the many, many questions. But yeah.
Oh, I
Oh,
love.
oh God.
Oh,
God, Santa's just such a good wizard.
the
Oh, he's just such a good person.
Athena is a
Uni.
very good bird.
Ah, ah. Okay, yeah, that was super soft.
That
Thank you
was.
so much, Uni.
I'm so glad we got to have these two have a nice talk because Zane has been feeling some sort of way about Athena, and it's good that they actually communicated, so he can just be
Yes.
like, "All right, the some kind of way I've been feeling is I will protect."
Oh God. Oh man. Yeah, and definitely settled some things that Athena had been pondering for over the past few weeks.
Oh,
Um, because gosh, she
oh,
what a way to start existing.
no
Um,
kidding.
mhm,
Don't worry, they will figure it out, or they won't, and that's also fine.
mhm. We will find out. But Okay, thank you everybody for coming and listening.
Thank
That's the
you.
end of
We
the
love
yeah.
you.
We love you all. Okay, and I'm gonna stop recording.